Hello and welcome back to Geordie Leather. In today's episode we're going to cover the topic of riveting leather. So without further ado, let's head across the overhead cam and get started. Okay, so rivets. In leatherwork there are three types of rivets. We'll only talk about two of them today because the third type is machine rivets, which aren't generally used by crafters. So we're going to stick with the basics. So there are two types of rivets. There are tubular rivets and what's called saddler's rivets or copper rivets. So we'll look at both of those now. So we'll head across and get some rivets out. Let's have a look. Let's take some. Here's a selection. I store my rivets in these compartment boxes because it's just easy, and I label each one with the different sizes within each box. So this is 10 by 8s and 8 by 8s. So if we have a look at this, we'll zoom in slightly. You can see that rivets, these are tubular rivets. Now the difference between a tubular rivet and a copper rivet is that a tubular rivet is just basically a pressed steel or brass piece of metal which is hollow, so that when you compress them together with the tools they crimp together and stay together. They're not really designed for heavy duty applications. If you're going to require that, then I'd use copper rivet, which we'll look at next. But basically tubular rivets like these come in various sizes. Now there's two measurements. There's the cap size, which is the diameter of the round part, and there's the post length size. So depending on the thickness of leather that you're riveting together will determine the length of the post you want to use. So I have a full range of all the sizes, which you'll find is necessary if you do a lot of leather work. So like I say, the tubular rivets come in two parts. They come in a post and a cap. That is to say that these are what we call double cap rivets, which means there has a cap on both sides. You can get single cap rivets, which I'll show you in a moment, but most commonly used are the double cap rivets, which when pushed together and crimped together lock the two pieces of leather together, like so. So we crimp those together and that locks the two pieces together. So like I say, they come in a variety of diameters and a variety of lengths, but also a variety of colours. So we'll just put those away for the moment, and I'll very quickly show you the difference with what we call a single cap rivet. So with a double cap, you saw there was a cap on both sides of the post, but with a single cap, let's have a look, you've only got a post with a flat side, a post, and then its corresponding cap. So that's a single cap rivet. You'd use that in applications where you don't need to have a dress cap either side of the leather. For example, on the back of a holster you wouldn't see the back cap, so you may as well use a single cap for that particular application. So let's show you how to put together some rivets. So if I take some scrap, just find a piece of suitable scrap. I'll just cut off some of this. I'll be making some key rings, as you can see. That leaves a lot of useful bits of scrap. So same as with eyelets and snap fasteners, we punch a hole. It's generally all the same size hole, 2.5, 3 mil. So we just punch a hole. Of course we're going to need two pieces of leather to demonstrate this, so punch another hole. So we want to rivet this piece of leather to this piece of leather. So we take our rivet. Let's just take a silver one. So well, I've just picked that randomly, but obviously that's not correct. So we need to determine the length that we actually need. So we put those two bits of leather together, and then we can put our rivet through, for example, and see how much sticks out. Now, if you can see that, that's sticking out about 3 mil, 4 mil maybe. It's a little bit too long. Ideally you want about 2 mil sticking out. So this is a 10 by 8 mil. So if we replace that with a smaller length, let's go with a 7. If we take a 7 mil instead, and put that through both pieces of leather, we'll see how that looks. So looking at that, you see the difference. That's sticking out about 2 mil, because this little bit that sticks out is going to go inside the cap. See the little hole there, and when it's squashed together, that'll spread out and grip the cap to the post. So that's the next stage. So I'll do it the other way around so it's a bit clearer for the camera. We'll put the post in from the back. Now, what you tend to find with these little caps is there's a small indentation in the post which allows you to put the cap on and press it together. You hear a click, and that holds it loosely while you get your tools ready. So I'll just put away some of these, just so we've got a clear workbench. So again, we need our trusty setting tool kit. So again, we use our base plate, and we need a setting tool. Now this is a 7 mil rivet, so we need a 7 mil setting tool. This is my 7 mil setting tool. You see it better on that camera, I think. Again, I label them because I have poor vision and can't see the engraved number on the post very easily. So the rivet setting tool is basically a rod which has a concave end and a flat end to be hammered, but the concave end is where the rivet cap sits in, like so. So, as with snap fasteners, etc., it's the same procedure. You put your one cap in your base plate, find the one that fits, that one there, and then you take your setting tool and a mallet or a hammer, put it over, make sure it's all lined up properly, and then give it a whack. And there you can see we have a nicely set rivet, like so. So the plate protects the dome shape on both sides. So there you go, that's basically how you rivet two pieces of leather together. So I think that covers everything for tubular rivets. We'll now go on to saddler's rivets, which are a bit more heavy duty. Like I say, I wouldn't recommend you use tubular rivets for anything more than sort of decorative purposes, because they're not very strong. If you really tugged on this, it would pull apart relatively easily. So they're more decorative than they are structural. If you want strength, use saddler's rivets, copper rivets, as we'll see next. So we'll do that next. So put those away for a moment. In fact, I'll actually demonstrate. I need to take this apart anyway, so I'll show you how easily it comes apart. So it's not structurally strong, it's more decorative. So I'll take those out, and we'll do the copper rivets next. Okay, now we'll take a quick look at copper rivets, commonly called saddler's rivets. So let's get some of those out. Put those out the way. So a saddler's rivet, or a copper rivet, basically consists of two little pieces. I'll get a close-up of that for you. So there's a copper post and a little copper washer. The rivets come in a variety of sizes, but generally size 10 or gauge 10 is the one that's most commonly used with leather work. There are also gauge 8 and gauge 6. The smaller number, the thicker the post is generally, but I find that 10 gauge is the most useful for the sort of work I do. So again, we'll just do the same procedure. You want to join two pieces of leather together, so we'll first of all punch 2 holes. So we insert the post through the back of the bottom piece of leather, so it sticks up like so. Insert the piece of leather you want to connect, and then the little the copper washer would sit on that post. Now, it's designed to be a very snug fit, so you find you can't push that down by hand. So we need a special tool to do that. So I'm going to bring across my anvil. So I've got a nice hard metal surface there to work on. Let's bring the camera up slightly so we can see that better. Okay, so I'm going to put our leather on there with the little copper washer. Like I say, you can't push it down by hand, it's just too snug, but it's designed to be that way. So to set saddler's rivets or copper rivets, we have a special tool, special setting tool. This is a very highly polished one. Usually they're quite rough when you buy them from most suppliers, but it basically consists of 2 holes on the side, which allow you to force that washer down depending on the thickness of the thickness of the rivet you're using, determines which hole you use. This is a size 10 rivet, so that hole there would push that down, and then we use the dome on the bottom to round over the end once we've trimmed it. So we'll do that bit first. So we need to flatten this down. See, I'll do it part way so you can see that started to force the washer down the shaft. So we need to do that all the way until it's nice and snug. So that's gripped those 2 bits of leather nice and snug. You can see the back of the rivet is starting to sink into the base of the leather, which is good. So the next stage is to trim off the excess post. Now we can use general pincers for that, or any other tool that's sharp. Copper is quite a soft metal, so it won't damage tools if you use them. So you're going to trim off approximately 1 millimeter, 1.5, maybe 2 millimeters of post. Let's do that. So that we're left with a little protruding piece of post like that. So obviously that doesn't look very nice. We want to make that more attractive by flattening it and doming it over. So we just start off with a hammer. We start to flatten it a bit like so, and then we use the little concave impression on the bottom of the tool to give it a bit of a rounded surface. And there we can see we have a nicely set copper rivet. Yes, that's nice, got a nice dome shape to it, and it's really strong, structurally very strong. So this is the sort of rivet to use if you want to do something which requires strength. Holsters, belts, that sort of thing, and it gives a nice clean riveted surface. So saddler's rivets are definitely the superior rivet. They do cost more, obviously. Tubular rivets are very cheap. You can get them for coppers, but saddler's rivets, they do work out maybe 10 pence or more per rivet, but well worth the investment. Gives you a much superior joint and a much nicer finish, because the copper will over time will tarnish and get a nice patina to it. So there you go, that is copper saddler's rivets. Okay, so that covers the topic of rivets. Not a particularly riveting subject, I know, but that's that. So until next time, thanks for watching. Please click the like button if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more. It does help the ranking of the video. And if you click the subscribe button, you'll be notified when we release our next video, and we look forward to seeing you. So until then, bye bye for now.